Never has there been a topic that I've been so confused about as these UC Irvine students protesting. Some Muslims got on the site and some agreed with me that it's okay to disrupt the speeches, and others have said a good Muslim doesn't do that. A Muslim doesn't go interrupt someone's speech. A good Muslim does show that quality of being a good host. As much as I know in my heart it's wrong to get up and disrupt, like those students did, I feel that if I was 20 years younger and I was at that school, I might be with them doing that. So as much as I think it's wrong, it feels like the 60s all over again. It feels like a revolution. It feels like people are active and activated. Palestinian plight is a very compelling plight. Yet these students, when they're out there screaming and doing this stuff, although they weren't violent, they weren't swearing, they weren't making their case compelling from the sense of compassion. No one would watch those students and feel compassion towards the Palestinians. I think there's a way they could influence a public speaking event by maybe holding up photographs of Palestinian children who had died and holding them up backwards. So if anybody films the activities, you don't disrupt the speaker, but everybody can see in the audience the faces of dead Palestinian children. Maybe those are the sorts of things. That way you can create a calm, compelling argument that causes people to feel for your plight. Baby killer, genocide, genocide. Do I feel any compassion? Not much. Here's a picture of a little boy who was killed in Gaza 6 months ago by the Israelis. I'm just going to hold this. You look at the picture, now what do you feel? Instead of thinking that loudmouth has got a problem, you go, oh God, how did the baby die? Oh, the Israeli army killed him. What? UC Irvine students are shaking things up. I downloaded the UC Irvine video off YouTube, and I got two different versions. One had been posted by a Muslim, I think, and one had been posted by someone who didn't like Muslims, I think. And they both look like they did a little editing. Here is what I believe the Muslim poster, or the Muslim sympathetic Palestinian sympathizer person made the video. He left out this little compelling piece. This is a piece where it shows that the guy who was speaking was a kind, sensitive person. Just edit that out. It makes your argument a little bit better. So take a look at this.
I know that you're going to think this is strange, but I really wish they had stayed. I appreciate you all, but it was that community I wanted to address as well. Important that they hear, as I listen to them in Washington.
That Israeli guy, the ambassador, seemed like a pretty compassionate, nice guy. We don't need a compassionate, really nice guy on our video when we're trying to show you what a great thing we did by disrupting this Israeli ambassador. It would be so much better if this guy was a stupid jerk. But he's actually a pretty compassionate guy, so we have to edit this out. It's what people do. This little video here is something that the other side, the people who hate the Muslims, the people who support Israel, these are the people they don't want you to see, because on that clip, this was edited out. So this is what, right here, what the people who hate Muslims and don't like Muslims and support Israel, they didn't want you to see these creeps. These, not that they're creeps, this creepy behavior from these people. This one person, I guess at the university, telling students that they're going to flunk.
You're going to drop out and waste your parents' money. You're failing your exams. You are failing.
And these other people who are obviously Israeli supporters giving the finger. You talk about protocol. It's like, hey, this isn't how we behave in a college. Yet these grown-ups, look what they're doing. Again, none of these things prove anything, but just to goes to show you, look when you upload or watch a video, look at the person who runs the site on the video, because it'll change how that video was edited. And either way, if you don't get a neutral view, you're going to have something missing. So both of these videos were missing critical elements from the video that show a little bit about the humanity from both sides. On my last video, the UC Irvine Muslim protesters, half of it was the protesters and the other half was Columbia University's poor treatment of the Iranian president. I paired those together just to give you a little contrast about protocol and about how some things are acceptable and not acceptable in certain different situations. Those events are unrelated. And no matter how poorly Columbia University treated its guest, has no reflection, no bearing, and no justification for anybody else's behavior, whether it be UC students at Irvine or any person anywhere on the planet. You can never use someone else's bad behavior as justification for yours. That being said, I'm still not convinced that that was bad behavior. I think it was, but I celebrate it.